Hey friends, today I'm going to show you a pretty neat way to grow potatoes. How to grow them in straw bales. This method is fun and surprisingly simple. And with straw bales, you don't have to worry about having good soil. In fact, you could put your straw bales right on top of a concrete pad if you want to. The straw bales will act as the perfect growing medium for your potatoes. And when you're ready to harvest, it's a snap to bust open your straw bale and get your fresh potatoes out. And you'll be left with a load of straw that makes a perfect mulch or fertilizer for your garden or your flower beds. So I'll show you how to do it all in this video. Let's dig in. Hey, if you'd like to get 10% off some great treats for your pets, check out the GrubTerra link in the description. My friends at GrubTerra make the absolute best black soldier fly larvae for chickens, birds, and reptiles. And they also make excellent treats for your dogs, all while helping the environment. Use the discount code GROWANDBEFRUITFUL to get 10% off all your orders, and you'll also help support this channel. Potatoes are a great crop to grow in early spring. They like the cooler weather and don't like the heat of summer. I like to plant mine a couple of weeks before the last frost. That way they will emerge from the straw bale right about the time the danger of freezing is past. For this simple method, you'll need a straw bale or two, and you can pick these up at your local garden center or maybe even a feed and seed store or from a nearby farm if they have some extras that they want to give you. A straw bale is preferred to a hay bale. Straw and hay may look very similar at first glance, but they are different. Straw is primarily the stalks of grasses, then the seeds have been removed. Hay still has the seeds in it. That means hay is more likely to sprout and grow when it gets wet, meaning you'll have more weeds to deal with. Straw is much better because most of the seeds have been removed. However, you can use both hay and straw, and I have used both and been successful with both. You need to condition your straw bales to get them ready for growing. There's a quick method that takes about 2 weeks, and there's a natural method that takes about 2 months. I'll leave links in the description for videos about how to do both. But let me summarize the quick method right now. First of all, thoroughly soak the straw bales with water to initiate the conditioning process. Next, sprinkle a high nitrogen fertilizer over the top of the wet bales, aiding in the decomposition. Keep the bales consistently moist and repeat the fertilizing process every other day for about 2 weeks. As the straw bales begin to decompose internally, it heats up and eventually it will cool back down, signaling that it's ready for planting. You'll need some seed potatoes. You can use old potatoes that have started to sprout in your kitchen. It's best if they're organic because sometimes potatoes you get from the grocery store may have chemicals sprayed on them to deter sprouting. And you don't want that because you want yours to sprout. Organic potatoes are less likely to have any chemicals on them. The best source of seed potatoes is some that you've bought from a reputable source as seed potatoes. These will be certified disease-free, chemical-free, and you can choose the specific varieties you want that will taste good and will grow well in your area. With your seed potatoes, you'll notice each one has several chits on it. A chit is a little dimple where the potato plant sprouts. Each dimple will be one potato plant. If you have a larger seed potato, you can cut it up into pieces to make your seed potatoes go further. I like 2 to 3 chits on each seed potato piece. So if you have a potato with, say, 6 chits on it, you can cut it in half and leave 3 chits on each half. If you cut your potatoes like this, though, it's a good idea to let them dry for a couple days to allow the cut part of the potato to callus over so that it's less likely to rot in the bale. To plant your potatoes, you want to use a sturdy pointed stick to poke a hole down into the conditioned bale. try to drive the stick down into the bale about 12 inches. You want the diameter of each hole to be wide enough for the seed potato to easily drop into it and go all the way down to the bottom. You can swivel your stick around to make it the hole wider. I usually plant 4 seed potatoes in each bale. If you can't get the potato to go all the way down to the bottom, you can gently use a stick to sort of push it down into the bottom. But be careful, you don't want to damage the potato, as that could encourage the potato to rot. I usually plant 4 potatoes in each straw bale, and I like to use a zigzag pattern to maximize the distance between each seed potato. This helps keep the plants from competing against each other and will yield bigger potatoes. The last step is to add 2 or 3 tablespoons of bone meal to each hole. Bone meal is a great source of phosphorus, which encourages healthy root development in potatoes. This will give your potatoes a good start and help nurture a robust potato crop. It may take a couple of weeks for your potatoes to emerge from the top of your straw bale. But once the plants emerge, they will grow 2 to 3 feet tall over the course of the season. It takes a little faith to grow potatoes because they form underground, or in our case, inside the hay bale. As they grow, it's a good idea to spray for bugs. I like to use an organic spray that I make from 1 tablespoon of neem oil, 1 teaspoon of dish soap, and 1 gallon of water. I spray this on the tops and bottoms of the potato leaves to deter bugs like aphids and potato beetles. Your plants will also need about 1 to 2 inches of water per week. They'll need less in the beginning when they're just starting out and more as the plants grow larger. For me, that comes to about 7 seconds of water from my water hose per plant, a couple times a week. But if I get an inch of rain, I won't need to water, you see. And you want to be careful not to overwater potatoes, as that could make them rot. However, growing in straw bales like this really helps guard against rotting because these bales usually drain really well. Depending on which varieties you've planted, your potatoes should be ready in about 80 to 100 days. You know they're ready to harvest when they look like they're dying. To harvest, just cut the strings holding the bale together, pull open the bale, and dig through the bale carefully to find your potatoes. You want to be careful not to cut or scrape your potatoes, and don't wash them off. Just gently brush away any excess dirt and debris. Potatoes grown in straw bales are usually fairly clean, but you can just brush away anything that's stuck to them. But you don't have to worry about getting them absolutely clean. Remember, you're going to wash these things before you cook them. Store your potatoes in a cool, dark, dry place with good air circulation. Don't put them in a refrigerator because that's just too cold. The ideal temperature for potato storage is about 45 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you store your potatoes this way, they should last several months. I have a little pantry space in one of my extra bedrooms that I use. It's built with wire shelving, and this allows good circulation. And I keep the lights in the room off and close that pantry with some curtains. And since it's air conditioned and in my basement, the temperature is pretty close to 60 degrees. It's hard to get ideal temperatures in a normal home, but just aim for the best that you can. And if you store your potatoes this way, they should last for several months. And after that, you can maybe grow a fall crop of potatoes using some of your potatoes that are beginning to sprout. 2 Corinthians 4:18 says, "We don't look at the troubles we can see now. Rather, we fix our gaze on things that cannot be seen. For the things we see now will soon be gone, but the things we cannot see will last forever." Much like these potatoes growing unseen within these straw bales, the most significant growth in our lives often happens where we can't see it. Our faith and character and our trust in God develop in the hidden places of our lives, nurtured by prayer, perseverance, and the quiet moments with our Creator. Growing potatoes reminds us to trust in God's work in the unseen. believing that He is cultivating something beautiful in us that will, in time, emerge into the light. May we all have the faith to believe in the growth happening beneath the surface and the patience to wait for the harvest that is to come. Keep tending your garden, both the one in your yard and the one in your heart, trusting that God is at work. And may God bless you with a bountiful harvest this year. Now get out there and grow and be fruitful.